Councillor Bill and then Councillor Linda.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillors, this is a step change, just like the Harbour Bridge was a step change all those years ago, slightly undercooked when it was first built, but it changed the North Shore, brought it to be part of the city. Since this council's been in formation, we've had nearly 180,000 people arrive here. 180,000 people. That's greenfields growth, that's brownfields growth. It's people in apartments. It's people in our little coastal towns and villages. But most of all, we are seeing large amounts of growth in the northwest and the south. It is substantial. One of the things the Have You Say events really illustrated, and I went to 14 of them, was that people said, do the basics, stick to your knitting, don't do the frilly stuff, and above all, solve transport. And that solution is not all roads, it's not all rail, it's not all cycling, it's not all walking, it's a combination of all the modes, because that's what's required. Not everybody lives within walking distance of a train station or a bus station. Not everybody lives in close proximity to a motorway on-ramp. So it's about those arterials. We can work through our emissions policy for those people who are in unfortunate circumstances, and we will have to find a solution for that. Because it's a solution that we must have. And this targeted rate, this levy, is a large part of that solution. We can't afford to wait another 3 years. We've been waiting 30 too long now. We need to move. Another facet of this, and it's been mentioned by others, is that this shows this city's determination to put some coin in the tin for transport, to put our money where our mouths are, to be brave, to step forward. And we work with partnership with the government. This is New Zealand Inc. We're too small to play parochial politics as a nation. We need to work with them. They are the big dog in the room. We need to work with that dog and get a good result for this city. You know, they got a big bark and we've got a bark. Together, we're going to make some results. And that's about having the right approach of collaboration, cooperation and understanding. Councillors, I really urge you to step forward with this proposal, to be brave, as someone said, because this is a step change opportunity that needs to be grasped and embraced.
Bill. Councillor Linda.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It was really clear in the consultation that we did that the Auckland plan, or the enhanced, the go forward, the speed it up, get it happening transport plan was the definite choice of all the people that of most of the people that responded. But it wasn't clear to me was the choice of how to pay for it. It really depended upon different parts of the region you lived in, your personal circumstances, etc., etc. So of course everybody thinks, well, what's in it for me? And that's quite normal. But we're here to decide for the region, and we do have to take everybody into account. But in the end, to echo Councillor Cashmore's words, I've written it down. This is a step change. People want a huge change. They want a demonstrable change in how they get to work and how they get home from work and how they get around the city that they live in and the region they live in. They don't want dribs and drabs anymore. They don't want to wait on the on-ramps or even to get on the on-ramp onto the motorway for 30 to 40 minutes every morning. So I agree with Councillor Watson. We didn't do the consultation well around the levy. It was in there. And what we should have said, that we said we'd had to have legislation to get the other options on the table. And we should have said, and in the meantime, while we're working on that, if you don't want us to stop, if you want us to speed up, we're going to have to do a levy. And are you okay with that? And we should have done that, but we didn't. And we don't have time to go back. We don't have time. People are already saying over and over, and they've been telling us for years, sort out the transport. So unless we get that legislation enacted, which we know is not anytime soon, even in the next year or the next 2 or 3 years, we've only got 2 tools to use. We've got raise the rates or put a levy. Or, well, there's another one. We can just cut out a whole lot of projects. But what we've got here is an interim project, an interim plan here with a solution to fund it. And if we're brave, because this is about braveness, because, you know, of course we have pressure from our constituents. There'll be pressure to take it on and there'll be pressure not to take it on. You just have to choose in the end what you think is right. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm a bit like Councillor Penrose. Look, if I believe this is right and people don't want me next time, well, so they don't, and that's the way it goes. But that's the risk you take in trying to make the best decision you can with the information you've got. So if we want to deliver really good transport outcomes for people, we have to take this route. We have to levy, but we've also reduced the rate increase, which I think helps it make more palatable. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Councillor Christie.
Question at this time. Can I pose a question at this time, Mr. Mayor? I think this item does relate to the next item on the alternative funding, or as you're proposing, we go to the government on motorway access charges. I wonder if it's worth asking Mr. Peter Winder to come to the table, because I think we need to fully understand the implications of this interim funding package and how it is limited. Well, maybe I should pose the question if he could come to the table.
Yep. Peter, welcome. You seem to be such a permanent fixture here these days.
Good morning. Thank you, Pete.
Okay.
So my question, Peter, is I'd just like some clarification. I heard it before, but clarification about the limitations of this. What is the extent of this? What does this package offer us, and what does it not offer us in terms of an enduring solution?
Your Worship, through you, my understanding of this package is that it provides a way forward. It does not deliver the Auckland Plan. It certainly doesn't deliver the Auckland Plan beyond year 3 of the LTP. So this provides a way of making progress, but not at the full extent of the Auckland Plan. And that's really important. It means that if you wished to achieve and deliver the Auckland Plan and all of the benefits that go with it, you still have a fundamental challenge as to how to pay for that, certainly beyond year 3 of the long-term plan.
Thank you. Well, look, it's good to have that clarification. I appreciate that. We're a rock and a hard place. We're between rock and a hard place. There's no easy way out here. As Councillor Crum says, it's going to be a raw one for Aucklanders. Well, I would say Aucklanders have been wearing a raw one for quite a few decades now. Now, are we going to hide behind, you know, search out every possible reason why we can stand in the way of making a shift in transportation in Auckland, particularly public transport and active mode transport? Now, we can all go to our desktop laptops and search for those arguments why we can't. I'm really here over the last 18 months searching for why we can make that step change in Auckland. Because this does not prepare us beyond 3 years, what the Mayor's proposing here. It only prepares us for the next 3 years out of 10 years. It is addressing a deficit in the public transport area particularly, in the active mode area particularly. It is not really prepping us for the long future. We've still got that battle in front of us, and it's going to be a lot rawer for all Aucklanders unless we bite the bullet now. Whichever way you taste it, it's not that palatable. It's just not. It doesn't stack up. But are we going to be scared off? Are we going to run away on this one? Too many leaders in Auckland have put their tail between their legs and wandered off, and they've hidden behind rhetoric and weak arguments, and no one's challenged them. Aucklanders in this round of consultation are really challenging us like never before. I've shifted my travel behaviour significantly. I know others around this table are doing likewise. I really make an effort to drag out that hop card from my wallet and use it wherever possible in my day. I change my meeting program to suit public transport rather than just assume I can always go there by car, because the truth is you can't go there by car anymore. But you can also not go there by public transport. When you take that Northern Express out of Britomart, there's queues of 150 people queuing for Northern Express buses. At the Fanshawe Street station on Victoria, on Fanshawe Street I should say, outside Victoria Park, there are people queuing sort of tucked away out of the wind under trees. You can count 150 people most afternoons at that one bus stop, waiting to catch their buses going back to the North Shore. I'm sure that's happening all over your constituencies, members. It's happening everywhere. Some members are reminding us of the queues to get on motorway systems, travelling in their cars, and that's valid too. All modes are valid, but the modes that are lacking in badly are the PT modes and the active modes. We are going great guns in Auckland. We're 34% of the nation's population, but we're doing 37% of the GDP, 37% of the GDP. We are paying our governments, the current and futures, we are revenuing them like no other place. The taxes that come out of Auckland, be they GSTs, corporates or personals, are enormous. We are making our fair share. We are contributing to the government coffers like no other place. Our immigration numbers, even I think it was 2012 when the national immigration numbers dropped off, I think they were -10, we were still growing. We've been growing like no other part of this nation for 10 years now. We will continue to grow. But of course, what we're looking at here is just, as I said before, is addressing the deficit and the short term. We've still got to grapple with the long term. The numbers speak for themselves. We've got to respond to those numbers. If we walk away now, we will be pointed at. That was the council from 2015, just like the council from 2010, 8, 5, 1, going back decades, that walked away, found another reason why it could not address the public transport deficit. So members, if you want to look at real numbers, if you want to look at raw numbers and understand the severity of the situation in Auckland, look at the ones that really matter. Look at the remoteness that people have from places of learning and earning. They are struggling to get to where the good incomes are in the city centre. They are struggling to get to their town centres and other employment districts where the jobs are. They can't get to universities. They can't get to schools in double quick time. This is killing us. We're going to have to bite the bullet.